Get started here. As I hit record. All right. Welcome to the October 30th, 2020 meeting of the Rotary Club at Beaver Creek. I'm your host and good-looking president, Mike Canada. I would like to thank Eric Marcus for greeting folks. Any of those folks that said hi to someone, thank you very much. Make everyone feel welcome. I'd like to thank Mike Zwick for our great speakers and programs, Jim Gundel and Alex Zaharia for website and YouTube, and of course, Beth Cusack for our book dedication. I would like to extend a very special warm welcome to all of our members, any guests that may be joining. I did see a couple of them. And a warm welcome to our speaker, Dr. Jack Thomas, who is the president of Central State University, discussing a bright future for CSU. So far, our club has been averaging 38 on Zoom and 15 on YouTube. And with that, I see that our Sergeant at Arms, Dave Fleming, is here. Well, I'll turn it over to him.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. So Hurricane Zeta hits Louisiana, sweeps through the South. Trump, Pence, Biden, and Harris are also on hurricane frenzy tours, looking for last-minute votes. COVID is sweeping the nation and turning the wrong corner in Ohio, as the governor now lists 7 or 8 states that it is wise not to visit. That does not include Pennsylvania, so I feel pretty safe here. Yeah, big news. 2 of the principals in the House Speaker and House Speaker householders' $60 million bribery scandal have pled guilty. That's not a good sign for poor Larry, who is also accused of using $920,000 in campaign funds to pay his legal fees. State Representative Rick Perales. Oh, hi, Rick.
I'm here. I'm here. Be careful.
has wisely yet to comment, keeping himself and his own campaign for election as a county commissioner very clean, and we really love you, Rick. We love you. Oh. And it's the can't figure out anything to find you for today. And it's the the Dodgers' first World Series in 32 years. Third baseman Justin Turner removed in the 8th inning due to COVID positive test, but he returns unmasked for the celebration and spreads the wealth with all of the members of the team. Oh, there's one smart baseball player. In other sports news, Jack Nicklaus supports Trump on Twitter. Arizona Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins gives a Phoenix political caravan the finger, explaining, quote, "I was really about to do the peace sign, but my index finger right here was kind of hurting, so it ain't make it up in time." Yeah, that's right, DeAndre. Everybody who believes that. Okay. And Michael Jordan famously explains why he stays out of politics by saying Republicans buy sneakers too. So it was a good week for winter swimmers. It's not quite cold enough yet to qualify, but it has been determined by research from Cambridge University that people who swim in cold water develop higher levels of RBM3, a cold shock protein that may help delay the onset of dementia. Immersion in cold water, researchers said, may stimulate the growth of brain synapses. So you know how important it is for us to get more brain synapses. Good week for unidentified flying humans. After pilots of jetliners coming into LAX and Los Angeles reported for the second time in 6 weeks, seeing a person in a jetpack flying by, this one at an altitude of 6,000 feet. I guess the fall from 6,000 feet isn't any worse than a fall from 600 feet. But anyway, the FBI is investigating. But singer Miley Cyrus said in an interview that she once made eye contact with an alien who followed her in a UFO that looked like a glowing yellow snowplow. Now, Cyrus noted that the sighting came after she bought waxweed from a guy at a van in front of a taco shop. I don't know what waxweed is, but if it makes you see people that look like they're in a glowing yellow snowplow, I think I'd be careful about that. It was, however, a bad week for Chicago, which has been named the most rat-infested city in the United States for the 6th consecutive year by Orkin Pest Control. Los Angeles came in 2nd, New York in 3rd. It was a bad week for alpine mists after a coronavirus outbreak in Switzerland was traced to a single super spreading yodeling concert attended by 600 fans. The vigorous yodeling apparently expelled clouds of aerosolized coronavirus, and the outbreak is now, quote, one of the worst in all of Europe, said Dr. Rito Nush. In America, only in America, public schools in San Diego have instituted new equitable grading practices, with grades no longer affected by homework, tests, attendance, or other factors that directly measure students' knowledge. District official Richard Barrera explained, if we're actually going to be an anti-racist school district, we have to confront practices like these. And then here's a little story from Belgium. A Belgian man was busted after a failed plot to hijack a helicopter and free his incarcerated wife. Mike Guylan, a 24-year-old convicted drug smuggler, and 2 accomplices hired the helicopter under the pretense of being a TV crew. I don't know about these Belgians. Once airborne, they pulled out fake guns and told the pilot to land at the prison. The plot went awry when Guylan became airsick as the chopper circled the prison, barfing out the window 5 times, and subsequently the pilot was unable to land in the prison yard. It seems the whole thing had been staged quite amateurishly, said Guylan's lawyer. You think? You think? Oh my goodness. So let me look into my file. I have this great file. Oh no, what happened to it? Oh my goodness, what happened to it? Just a second. It'll just take a second to call up the file. Are you all still there? What happened to my file? I'm not doing as well as oh yeah, here we go.
I see a fine in your future, Dave.
You see a fine? I'm trying to do this online. Okay, so here's a little bit of information about American or world geography. I know, you know, the club always needs to gain a little information and knowledge. Did you know that more than half of the coastline of the entire United States is where? In Alaska. Did you know that the Amazon rainforest produces more than 20% of the world's oxygen supply? Did you know that Antarctica is the only land on our planet that is not owned by any country, and that 90% of the world's ice covers Antarctica? Did you know that Brazil got its name from the nut, not the other way around? Did you know that Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined? And that next to Warsaw in Poland, Chicago has the largest Polish population in the world. And did you know that in Ohio, there are no natural lakes? Every lake in Ohio is man-made, some of them to feed the Ohio Erie Canal. Did you know that the smallest sovereign entity in the world is located in the city of Rome, has an area the size of 2 tennis courts and a population of 80? 20 less people than the population of the Vatican. It is called the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, or the SMOM, S-M-O-M. And let's see, Spain. The word Spain literally means the land of rabbits. And that's important information because you never know when you need to do something like that. Okay, now I'm going to warn you about a spam that I've experienced. You sometimes hear about women receiving warnings about protecting themselves. This is the first warning I've seen for men. I wanted to pass it on. It's a heads up for those men who may be regular customers at Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco, or Walmart. Caught me totally by surprise. Over the last month, I became a victim of this scam while out shopping. Don't be naive enough to think it couldn't happen to you or one of your friends. And here's how it works. Two nice-looking college-age girls will come over to your car or truck as you're packing your purchases into your vehicle. They both start wiping your windshield with a rag and Windex with fairly significant cleavage in their blouses. It's pretty hard not to look. When you thank them and offer them a tip, they say no thanks for the tip, but they do ask for a ride to McDonald's. You agree, you climb into their vehicle. On the way, they start undressing. Then one of them starts crawling all over you while the other one steals your wallet. I personally had my wallet stolen on October 4th and 9th and 10th and twice on the 15th, also on September 4th and 8th and once on the 16th, and very likely it'll get stolen again this coming weekend. So tell your friends to be very careful. Tell them to be very vigilant. And by the way, Walmart has wallets on sale for $2.99 each, and I even found some cheaper ones for 99 cents at the dollar store. So please send this on to all the retired men you know and warn them to be on the lookout for this scam. The best times to be on the lookout for the scam are just before lunch and around 4:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so you have been warned, and now I'll tell you the story about two clever nuns. Are you still with me? Two clever nuns. One of them known as Sister Mathematical, and the other one known as Sister Logical. It was getting dark. They were still far away from the convent. Sister Mathematical said, "Have you noticed that a man has been following us for the past 38 and a half minutes? I wonder what he wants." Sister Logical says, "It's logical. He wants to make love to us." Sister Mathematical, "Oh, no. At this rate, he'll reach us in 15 minutes at the most. What can we do?" Sister Logical says, "The only logical thing to do is, of course, to walk faster." A little while later, Mathematical says it's not working. Logical says, "Of course it's not working. The man did the only logical thing. He started to walk faster too. What will we do? At this rate, he'll reach us in 1 minute." "Well, the only logical thing we can do is to split. You go that way and I'll go this way. He can't follow us both." So the man decided to follow Sister Logical. When Mathematical got back to the convent, she was worried about her sister, Sister Logical, and then finally Logical arrived. Mathematical said, "Sister Logical, thank goodness you're here. Tell me what happened." And she says, "The only logical thing happened that would have happened. The man couldn't follow both of us, so he followed you." Yeah, but what happened then?" "Well, the only logical thing happened. I started to run as fast as I could, and he started to run as fast as he could. And, well, then the only logical thing happened. He reached me." "Oh, dear. What did you do?" "Well, the only logical thing I could do. I lifted my dress up." "Oh, sister, what did the man do?" "The only logical thing to do. He pulled down his pants." "Oh, no. What happened then?" "Isn't it logical, sister? A nun with her dress up can run faster than a man with his pants down." See, and those of you who thought this was going to be a dirty joke, I think you just need to say 2 Hail Marys. All right. And I do have only one birthday or activity like that, except I can't find it. Somebody has been a member of the club for 5 years. Oh, Kendall Guyland. On the 28th, her 5th anniversary with the club. I have no weddings to report, no birthdays to report during this last week, and I don't see any pictures in the paper. So if you had your picture in the paper or on a political ad or on a political postcard that I received, you only have to pay once, not once for each postcard I received. Rick, and Brian. And I don't know if I had any other Rotarians who sent me political ads. So that would conclude my report for the day. But here are the fines. Remember, we're on the honor system. That means I will honor your ability to pay me when we get out of this mess and I can collect in person. It's $1 fine if you ever swam outside in the winter. It's $1 fine if you've ever seen a UFO. It's $1 fine if you ever yodeled in Switzerland. And it's $1 fine if you ever hijacked a helicopter and tried to rescue your wife from prison. So with that, Mr. President, I will turn the microphone back over to you for the collection of happy bucks.
I'm not even going to say thanks, Dave. That was the worst Sergeant at Arms report I think I've ever heard. I mean, first of all, I'm sorry about your wallet. Second of all, we will be taking applications for a new sergeant. We'll start at private. And if you have a pulse, you will be accepted. Are there any happy bucks?
I'll throw a happy buck in. I was very happy last Saturday when the Bucks beat Nebraska, and I'll be even happier this Saturday after they beat State Penn.
I second that. Any other happy bucks? I have a happy buck. I'm going to go vote today. Everybody go vote.
I've got one. After like every race was canceled this year, I approached a bunch of friends back in like June and said, hey, if you guys want to do a race, I'll put one on for like 40 people. And so a bunch of people are doing a full marathon with me Sunday morning. There's like 25 doing a full marathon and 15 doing a half marathon, and it's a certified course with chip timing, and it's a real race. It's just 40 people, and I think the slowest guy in the race is a sub 3 hour marathoner, and the fastest guy in the race is trying to break 2:20. So it should be a very, very fast race. So I'm excited. I'll be racing it myself.
Where are you guys racing, Brandon?
It's kind of like a Fight Club thing, like, you know, first rule of Fight Club.
Okay.
So, but the answer is my house. I live on a 2-mile square, 4 left turns, no intersections. So it's a 13 loop course. So not the most exciting thing, but it's certified, and that means there's 26 aid stations, 2 per loop. So it's not bad.
Nice. Any other happy bucks? All right, we'll move on to announcements. I would like to make the first announcement. The board and I met last Friday, and decided with the recent surge in COVID cases, we have tabled the discussion of meeting in person until December, at which point during that board meeting in December, we will see where we are with the virus and see if it's safe to maybe pursue meeting in person again. I know there's a lot of people that don't care to meet on Zoom. And I know there's a lot of people that would only meet on Zoom. So just be patient with us. We want it to be safe for everyone. With that being said, I'm currently looking for some fun Zoom ideas. Maybe the first one should be cutting out Dave's Sergeant at Arms report on Zoom. But I've got a couple ideas in the works to make it more fun, more dynamic, and make people kind of look forward to it and have some fun. So if you have any ideas, please email, text, or call, and we'll be able to pursue all of that. Any other announcements?
I have one, Mike. The club's next Flags for Heroes event is on Veterans Day, November the 11th at Be Hope Church. So we're soliciting volunteers to install the flags on the Saturday before the Veterans Day, the 7th at 2 p.m. And we're also looking for volunteers to remove the flags the following Saturday on the 14th at 2 p.m. So if you can help install or remove the flags, just let me know. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Go ahead, Dave.
I just want to say, since Jim spoke up, it reminded me that this would normally be our weekend for the Halloween party that he is. I think he only throws it to win the costume party with his family, but it's been a great event every year. We appreciate it, and we look forward to the time when we can get back to it next year. But thanks for all your work on that, Jim.
Eric?
I want to remind everybody that the quarterly dues went out the beginning of the month of October, and they are due tomorrow. If you are one of the few people who had a positive balance on your invoice and not a credit still, try to get me the money. I want to remind everybody that you can pay online with a credit card. There's a small fee so that the club stays whole. But I get the money through PayPal, and it works out really well. I'm also working, probably within the next 6 months, we'll have the ability with our quarterly dues to have a direct debit out of your account by check, which would be a little bit cheaper than the current 3% that we pay to PayPal. So I'm still working on that to try to get the cost down so that you can pay online.
Thanks, Eric. Any other announcements? All right, with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Rick Perales to introduce our speaker for today.
Great. Well, thank you. I was just finishing my second Hail Mary, Dave. And then I was trying to figure out how to apologize to Dr. Jack Thomas for that joke. So thank you for clearing both of those. Yeah, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jack Thomas, our new president at Central State University. And I've got to tell you, folks, I have not met Jack yet. He's in my district, and he will be in my commission district, and I'm looking forward to it. But reading over his resume, it's just very, very impressive. Jack comes to us from Western Illinois University after about a decade as a president there, where he, you go to his website to see, to the Central State website, and you can read all the particulars, but it is very impressive indeed. He spent a year there as a president. The 20 years prior to that, and me coming from the University of Dayton, and being a military member, and I think many people out there knows what fill in the squares means. It means that you're doing everything you need to do to get to the next level. I got to tell you, this guy's done that in spades. He's gone from a president to a interim president, provost, academic vice president, executive vice president, executive assistant to the president, dean, department chair, and English professor. He's touched it all, which means one thing, that he understands how the university works. He is a very respected and renowned speaker, and he's published many articles. So he's done everything it takes to get the credibility to be a president of the university. And I got to tell you, we're very fortunate indeed that he is our president at Central State. He comes here with his wife, Linda, who is also a doctor, and she'll be working at Wright State. And Dr. Thomas, I'm told by your staff that you have 2 children and you'll live in Xenia. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm not done yet though, sir. I want to give you the stage, but when I saw that you grew up in Lowndes County, Alabama, and everyone here knows where I went to school, when you grow up in Alabama, it's either Auburn or Alabama. Sir, I'm asking you on the spot, which one is it?
Roll Tide.
Oh, man, wrong answer. Wrong answer. War Eagle. Hey, but hey, listen, sir, welcome to Greene County. Central State is a jewel here. We all respect it, and we will do whatever it takes to make you at home. So I will have my staff get with your staff and get me over there to meet you. And even though you're an Alabama fan, I will do whatever I can to help you to help our Central State University. Without ado, everyone welcome our new Central State President, President Jack Thomas, sir.
Thank you so much. Now, I do cheer for Auburn as long as they're not playing Alabama. And our house is divided. My dad and brother are Auburn fans. My sister and I are Alabama fans, and they will not cheer for Alabama. I don't care who they're playing, but I will cheer for Auburn as long as they're not playing Alabama. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for having me on here. You've heard my bio, so I won't go into that. I'm delighted to serve as the 9th president here at Central State University. And I just want you to know that these are tough times and challenging times for us because of the pandemic and all of the other things that are going on. But we're trying to make the best of it here at Central State University. And I am a Rotarian, so you all will know. I don't know if you knew that. You didn't read that in my bio, but I am a Rotarian and very proud of it. With that being said, I have some things that I want to share here with you. I'll share on the screen. Right here. Right here. Yep. I'm still trying to learn this technology here. Right here. And someone is working with me. There we go. Well, thank you. And okay, now how do I move this thing? As you all know, we are an 1890 land grant institution, and I know some people may not have known that as I came on a little earlier and I was talking with, I think it was Eric, and he wanted to know, didn't know that we had that status. We got that status in 2014 as an 1890 land grant institution. And land grant institutions were established by the Morrill Act of 1862. And later in 1890, the Morrill Act created access for HBCUs, and that's historically Black institutions. And as I explained earlier to someone, we are an 1890 land grant institution. Ohio State is an 1862 land grant institution. And the focus is on education, research, and extension services to the local communities in the state. We receive funding from the state as well as federal funding to do outreach, partnerships, research, and STEM and ag. And we're just very pleased that we've already reached out to the Dean of Agriculture at Ohio State, and we are beginning to do some more extensive kinds of partnerships as we should do. And we've had some partnerships already, but not to the extent that we would like to have partnerships with Ohio State. As the new president, I set a theme for our university, and that is innovation is in our DNA. We want to continue to be innovative, creative, and flexible. But our theme is innovation is in our DNA. Prior to my arrival, I appointed what we call a Blue Ribbon Task Force. And that Blue Ribbon Task Force looked at all angles of the university. It's basically like a transition team outside of the university. And we have people from the 1890 land grant community out of Washington on that, a former president, former vice presidents, deans and chairs, and even someone from the public school system out of Birmingham, Alabama, serving on that. And what they are doing is looking at all aspects of the university to give me advice about what they think that direction we should move in at Central State. And later I'll talk about the, well, I'll just say it right now. As a part of this, the board has charged me to do a new strategic plan for the university. And we will utilize those recommendations to help set the course of how we're going to move forward for the next 5 to 10 years at this university. And if you look at us and where we are, we're in a unique location. And you've probably seen us on social media, in the media a lot about some very good things. And we want to continue to do that. But that Blue Ribbon Task Force is helping me with those things that I will be doing in terms of the goals for the university. We've set 9 goals, presidential goals for the university. One is to continue to meet and enhance the 1890 land grant mission. We want to increase our enrollment globally and in diversity. Right now, our set number has been around 2,000 students. But this year we are about 6% down. We have a little over 1,800 students this semester, but we have another 2,200 students online. So we're a little over 4,000 students because of the online program that we have invested in. We're slated to grow the traditional enrollment to about 3,000 students, and then the online to about 6,000 or 8,000 students eventually. We're well on our way with the things that we're putting in place. Also, when you look at the retention and graduation rates, they are not where we want them to be. We have to improve our retention and graduation rates. But I'm very pleased to say that our retention rate has already gone up 10% this year. So we went from 46% to 56%. The level, the state level is 68%, and the national level is 72%. In my interview, I told the board that at the end of my tenure, I want to be at least at 68%, and then somewhere around the 70s. We want to get to the national level of 72%. Also, we want to develop a marketing and rebranding campaign. My new vice president for institutional advancement is taking that on. And with the strategic plan, my vice president for institutional advancement and my new provost and academic vice president will be chairing that, co-chairing that. So we're going to be reaching out to the community as well. And we may even ask some of you to serve on that committee. That will be very helpful to us as a university. So if you think you want to serve on a strategic plan and you want to loan your expertise to us, put it in the chat and we will see your name and give us a number so we can call you. And any way you want to be involved in what's happening and the creativity and the development and the direction that we're going here at Central State, we'll be delighted to have you and include you in parts and some of our committee meetings as well. So we want to do marketing and rebranding campaign. Also, we're going to launch a multi-million-dollar campaign for the university. And we've already, our new vice president for institution advancement is already laying the groundwork and doing the work for that new multi-million-dollar campaign. And I know I have later on about the $50 million $50,000 presidential scholarship. I wish it was 50 million. Where I donated 50,000 of my salary for scholarships for needy students here at Central State. I asked for a $50,000 match. I got that $50,000 match. Now many of our alumni and friends of the university, they are creating a $50,000 match, and I challenge any of you to match that 50,000 as well if you feel that you're being led by the Spirit to do that. But we will appreciate that as well. And I'm a Baptist preacher as well, so you'll know. So I have that in my background also. But if you're led by the Spirit to do that, we ask that you donate as well. But in addition to that, we're starting an honors college here at Central State University. We just recruited the inaugural executive director of the Honors College, and where we want to recruit those high achieving students who have high ACTs, high grade point averages, those valedictorians and salutatorians. But we still want to focus on our mission of the university, where we're recruiting those who may be mid-range, which we consider to be our bread and butter there, the mid-range, but also those who may be borderline, but also meet our standards, so that we will continue to be in sync with our mission. But recruiting those high achieving students, that will help us in terms of our overall academic profile. in recruiting those students. It will also help us in the rankings in U.S. News and World Report and the other rankings as well. In addition to that, we want to increase the degree offerings here. Right now, we're starting new graduate programs because we don't have a School of Graduate Studies. We want to do that, and we want to provide flexibility in course delivery. And because of this pandemic, it has helped us in a way in terms of being online and having a hybrid model, and also being face-to-face as well. We want to build a new living and learning environment for our students in the residence halls, new residence halls, as well as having learning type of environments for students. For example, we may have a certain major of students on one floor and in one particular area, so that builds camaraderie and those kinds of things. And also we want to update, as I mentioned, the strategic plan and also the master plan for the university as well. I've already told you about the $50,000 that I donated for scholarship offerings, but we also started a new mentoring program for all freshmen. Every freshman here will be mentored by a faculty, a staff, or an administrator. I have 5 mentees myself. That will help us with our retention and also with our graduation rates. And these are just the presidential priorities that I just went over, and we just have them named under titles here. Just wanted you to see that in that form, but these are the presidential priorities. In terms of signature academic programs, we're known for water resource management. I took a tour of Water Resource Management Department. Is in one of the state-of-the-art facilities here at Central State University. And we're the only historically Black institution with the water resource management. And there are 4 water resource management programs in the country offered at 4 different universities, and we're one of them. So that's one of our signature programs. We're also looking at STEM programs and agriculture education. We're known for that, and particularly agriculture education and the STEMs. Also, we will be offering our first online MBA program. And right now, we just got that approved through the Chancellor's office, and now it's at our accrediting body, the Higher Learning Commission. And we will start that program in 2021. I've already told you about the inaugural Honors College. We have insurance and banking industry talent resource, where we are partnering with insurance companies, as well as we have the banking the banking and finance. We're even looking at starting a banking and finance program here at Central State University. Key drivers to future success. We're working with the Department of Defense in terms of partnerships. We've already visited the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, AFID and AFRL. We've worked with individuals there, and we're creating some linkages there as well, creating internships for our students, as well as jobs after they finish here at Central State, and even summer jobs as well. We want to continue to do marketing and attracting local, regional, statewide college-ready students here, and preparing students for the workforce. And we want to make sure that we have the online Career Plus partnerships for academic programs also. And I went back to, yeah, okay. Okay. I did something here, yeah. Well, okay. Well, that concludes my presentation. I just wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to discuss with you the goals for the university and where we're going. It's going to take all of us at Central State. It's going to take the community, our alumni and friends of the university to help us get to where we want to be as a university. I invite you to come to our campus. or invite us to come and speak about the things that we're doing here at the university, and basically how we can partner as a university with you. We want to do a lot in terms of business and industry. We've reached out to our alums. We're reaching out to business and industry. We're bringing people here to our campus. And we know that a lot of this was done by on social media, as well as reaching out to individuals. One other thing that I want to mention is that we have going to do what we call a presidential tour. We'll be going to the various cities and talking about our academic programs, as well as meeting with our alums and recruiting students. We'll be going to Dayton, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, Washington, D.C., Detroit, and other cities as well. And we're asking individuals to host us in those different areas. But know that Central State University is well and alive, and we're here to serve you and to serve our community. With that being said, I'll be happy to take any questions or comments that you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Any questions?
Well, I see what the provost has stated from Clark State. So we would also be delighted to partner with Clark State and meeting with them to discuss possible pathways with Clark State as well as with, in their partnership with Central State.
Thank you. I'll send the email to reach out.
Okay.
You mentioned MBA will be a graduate program. Is that the first graduate program that Central State is offering?
Well, it will be in terms of now, yes, but we had a program in education, and we're going to bring that back. That was discontinued. That was prior to my arrival, but that was discontinued. But yes, under my leadership, it will be the first. And we do want to create other graduate programs in terms of master's programs and a couple of doctoral programs as well.
Any other questions?
I was going to say, several years ago, probably maybe 10, I think, Dr. Thomas, Central State was kind of downsized by the state due to financial situations. It might have been 20 years ago. What is the financial footing now, and what's the prognosis going forward? I mean, do you see yourselves growing back to, say, the 5,000 undergrads that they used to have on campus, and becoming more prominent than you were, becoming back what you were, say, 20 years ago?
Absolutely. My predecessor, Dr. Cynthia Hammond, I felt did a superb job in getting the institution back on sound footing when it comes to finances. And I know the institution went through some difficult times, and these are also still difficult times. But at the same time, I think we are okay in terms of on a solid foundation. And that's one reason I took this position, because you look at many institutions now, and particularly with the things that are happening, like with the pandemic and the reduction of resources at the levels in terms of state, and they also even federal, is putting many institutions in a financial situation, and also the decrease in enrollment. Our enrollment is increasing in terms of online. It's just that we have to find a way to reach many of those place-bound students, and many of those students who are individuals who have already gone into their careers, more of the non-traditional, which will help us in terms of financial. We do plan to get back to that number that Central State used to have. And that will be with a combination of traditional students and online students. Our goal right now is for the fall of 2021 to be at 3,000 students, traditional students, and then we will have X number of students online. Right now we have over 2,200 online. So we will be at well over the 5,000 at some point. But in terms of finances, the institution is on solid footing now. But we still have to be very strategic in what we do to make sure that we don't fall back into where we were. I always say that innovation is in our DNA, that we want to thrive and not just survive. And the reason we're doing all of these things in terms of partnership, which the university should have been doing all along, the partnerships, and then the multi-million-dollar campaign, the new academic programs, the mentoring program in terms of retention and graduation rates, and the honors college. And that's so that we won't be on just the cusp, so that we can continue to move the university forward in terms of growth. That's the purpose. I appreciate that question.
Dr. Thomas, this is Rick Perales, War Eagle. Are you copying me?
I copy you, Roll Tide.
Hey, listen, you mentioned land grant. I don't think most people understand what that means. So let me first call out somebody that was so vital in making that happen. And most members know Senator Chris Widener, then Senator Chris Widener from Springfield. He was probably the biggest champion for Central State and the biggest advocate to get land grant significance. Could you talk a little bit about what opportunities that opens up for the university, being a land grant university, sir?
Well, also let me just say kudos to Chris Widener, former senator. He is our government liaison person to the board, as well as working with me as the president here. And I understand that Chris Widener did a lot for Central State University, and we're very pleased with having him here on our staff. He works very well with me hand in hand here. So we're very pleased that he is here. And then with this land grant, we're working on agriculture education, research and extension. We're engaged in teaching, research and service in our community, and a lot more in terms of outreach and partnerships, and particularly in the STEM area. But as I said, the 1890 land grant was created because of for HBCUs, and there are 19 HBCUs who are 1890 land grants. And then we have the 1862s, which are the predominantly white institutions, but like Ohio State. And we are partnering with them as well. But it was established by the Morrill Act of 1862, and later 1890 Morrill Act created access for HBCUs. And it was for individuals at historically Black institutions who would not have had an opportunity to get an education had it not been for the 1890s and other historically Black institutions.
Roger that. Thank you, sir. And we will continue to thank Chris Widener for making that happen. That's a big deal.
Absolutely. And that's part of what helps the institution because of its new mission in terms of being sustainable financially. When you ask the question about finances, that has helped the institution tremendously in gaining and getting that designation of an 1890 land grant institution.
Any further questions?
I'm going to throw one more in. Dr. Thomas, could you comment just briefly on the importance of historically Black colleges and universities in America?
Well, thank you for that question. Well, I'm a product of an 1890 land grant institution. I'm a product of two historically Black institutions for my bachelor's and master's. Had it not been for public historically Black institutions like Central State, Tuskegee University, Alabama A&M, which I'm a graduate, Virginia State University, which I'm a graduate, I wouldn't be sitting here before you today and speaking before you, because it gave us opportunities as people of color to obtain a world-class education. And education, I continue to say, must be affordable. It must be accessible. And that's what historically Black institutions do. HBCUs do provide that kind of opportunity. And they nurture and prepare individuals for and provide a quality and well-rounded education so that individuals can be able to compete with anybody in the world. And looking at what's happening in our world today in terms of not just the pandemic, but the racial unrest and those kinds of things, I feel that HBCUs are more valuable and needed today than any time in the history of HBCUs. And looking at the challenges that we now face in our nation and across the world, I feel that HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, will be a part of that answering and dealing and handling and responding to the issues now at hand. So I think HBCUs are very important, more so now than ever before.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Thomas. Thank you for your time. And what club are you a part of as a Rotarian?
I was a part of the Murfreesboro Noon Rotary in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And when I moved to Illinois, I was a part of Noon Rotary at the Macomb, Illinois.
Awesome. Well, we've got some openings in Beaver Creek in case you want to transfer.
Okay, absolutely. I'm definitely interested.
All right, Dr. Thomas, thank you. Thank you again. As part of our tradition in our club, we like to donate a book on your behalf to the Beaver Creek Library, and I would invite Beth Cusack to do that.
Thank you.
Dr. Thomas, on behalf of the Beaver Creek Rotary Club, we thank you for joining us today, and we are donating a book to the Beaver Creek Community Library Children's Department called Seeing Stars, A Complete Guide to the 88 Constellations.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it here at Central State University.
All right. Okay, so next week we have Micah North, President of Resident Sciences, and we'll be introduced by Mayor Stone. Please keep an eye out on upcoming programs at beavercreekrotary.com and Facebook. As mentioned, November 7th, we'll be dropping off the flags in front of Be Hope Church. I'll send out an email on that. Is there anything else for the good of the club?
Mike, Jerry Pfeiffer here.
Yes, sir.
While we were having our meeting, I got a text from Ed Marinan of Green Giving. And sadly, I want to report that any of you that know Phil Cunningham, who's one of our longtime board members, Phil passed away on Monday after a long bout with esophageal cancer. Services will be down in Bellbrook on Friday with a military honors at 5 o'clock. So any of you that know it, I'll just pass that on for your information. He'll be missed, sadly.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for that. Anything else for the good of the club? All right, everyone, have a great week. We will see you next Friday.